Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're now coming to the ADAC SimRacing Expo. And I'm really happy to have two guys here who are really, really important for this SimRacing Expo. It's first of all Michael Wamser, the managing director of the ADAC SimRacing Expo, and Danny Guisa, the director of the SimRacing inside the SimRacing Expo. And I'm really looking forward to what they're going to present us now. And guys, this is your sofa, this is your microphone. Have a nice one.
Thank you for having us.
So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to speak here on the Bilsterberg Summit. It's an absolutely pleasure to do it. We are the Cowana Group and we are responsible for the SimRacing Expo for several years. And we want to give you a short view on the impact of the pandemic and increasing of the SimRacing market on an example called SimRacing Expo. So we talk a little bit about the history of the SimRacing Expo taking place for several years at the Nuremberg ring. And last year we made a really hard decision for a lot of people because we changed the location. So these are some short facts about Cowana. So Cowana is based with its headquarters in Franconian. I guess you will hear it on my accent. So we are responsible for a lot of things in the gaming industry, own a professional esports team for CSGO, for example. But the important thing is that we are responsible for the ADAC SimRacing Expo since 2018. So Danny, okay, so you see it, the SimRacing Expo in the beginner years, to be honest, looks like a garage sales atmosphere. So it was absolutely amazing. There were a lot of enthusiastic people making an idea to a small event at the Nuremberg ring, and we took over in 2018 and made it a little bit more professional and increased the number of exhibitors, increased the number of visitors as well. And in 2019, Mark and Richie from the ADAC got something like a dream in order to implement esport at the ADAC SimRacing Expo. It was really an absolute amazing stage and amazing races taking place. So Cowana decided to go another way. So we make it a little bit more professional. We fetch some really professional people, just like Danny here on my left-hand side. Danny is the head of sim racing at Cowana Gaming, and some few words, Danny, about the development of the sim racing industry.
Yeah, so hi from my side, basically. We just stayed here until 2000 or from 2016, but for many people, I don't think it's too obvious that sim racing is more around than I think now 17 years. So basically, I started in a small title called Live for Speed. Please don't get any confusion with Need for Speed. Completely different. That was the first title which is actually like real simulation, or was a really good simulation up to the standards we also have today. And there was like a professional event called ESL Pro Series, which is also happening today. But the sim just did not survive that because of various reasons. And then sim racing was actually for some years dead in Germany from the professional side. So there were no events for gaining money or attention for the teams. And then something changed around mid 2010. So basically there were more events from other publishers, from rFactor 2, from iRacing, from Assetto Corsa, which changed the landscape of sim racing. So basically there was one event from the Formula E where you could gain 1 million euros as a sim racer. And at that point, sim racing wasn't like totally flash professionals. There was just guys that's sitting at home with a, for today's standards, quite cheap wheel and spend like the whole day racing for themselves, like just going for hot laps and hot laps and hot laps. And basically that's not the most entertaining part for the viewers and also for the drivers. But there was a big final at the event at Las Vegas, I think, where the drivers really held a competition at an offline event which was streamed into the internet. It was a big success because the prize money was so big and people just couldn't grab what is sim racing and what are these people doing actually. And it was a really great race, actually, for the part from the outside side to watch. And after that, sim racing progressed quite fast because people tend to grab attention when prize money is in there. And they built up some structures. So basically, friends started out racing together, and then they formed like structures like professional racing teams have today. So they started to make a small organization, getting sponsors on board, and then it started to form to be more professional. People start to make videos about tutorials, how to drive, what is the best sim racing hardware. And actually, the Sim Racing Expo was one of the big first times where people can group up in Europe. So basically, I was there in 2016, and it was amazing for sim racing and sim racers. It was a dream to come true. You see people that you just see online in Discord wasn't even a place before. That was like just having IRC or something like that, talking to each other, chatting, or being on chats in the game. And then we stood there and, you're Martin Krönke? Okay. And yeah, I'm Danny, and hello, how are you doing? And that's actually one of the first events where sim racing understood, or the teams understood, how important this is actually gather themselves, have talks, not only racing, because sim racing teams are the fuel which the sim racing industry is running on. So basically, we don't have any teams, we can't organize events, and when we don't have teams or drivers, we can't organize the Sim Racing Expo. So from that point on, I think many teams understood how important it is to actually meet in a place and have talks about the industry, about the teams, and the racing itself. And I think 2019 was a big year because I entered the stage and walked down the stairs and was like, what the fuck is happening here? Because it was like an event that sim racing never saw at this stage. And then actually
we got amazing plans for 2020, and then everybody knows that pandemic came, and we were not allowed to let Sim Racing Expo 2020 take place. And we had a lot of time to think about what's the future of sim racing, and we decided to leave the Nuremberg. Yes, of course, it's the most famous racetrack in the world. Of course, we got some rooms. We rented rooms at the Nuremberg. We loved it to be there, but it's not the future to have 4,000 triple nerd sim racers on the Nürburgring. Yes, of course, they are absolutely important for the industry, but we want to take the next step. And the next step is, we explained every exhibitor at the Sim Racing Expo 2021 said, if we want to get a little bit more famous and if you've got a little bit more reach on everything, we have to make the next step. And the next step is to go to a real fair environment, to have more opportunities, to get more space, to have maybe a little bit more comfort regarding traveling things and so on. And so we decided to move from the Nürburgring to Nuremberg. So yes, of course, we have already a racetrack as well, not so famous as the Nürburgring, but we have one. And the Nuremberg Fair give us a fair home, and we decided to partner with real motor shows. This means we are partnered with the Bavarian Classics. So it's the little sister from the Stuttgart Classics, which takes place every March in Stuttgart. They have something approx 100,000 visitors, real cars, neo-classics, old-timers, young-timers, and so on. And we decided to dock on with the Sim Racing Expo on this event in order to give a lot of more attention on the sim racing industry. So we will have the possibility to hopefully welcome something between 35 and 50,000 people at the Sim Racing Expo this year. And this is absolutely amazing. So we got more space and more areas in order to present the simulators and so on. And we, if we look on the figures, Danny, please go. Yeah, so okay. So on the left side, you see the exhibitors of 2021. So we got 26. Now we have 17. So this is absolutely amazing. 70 exhibitors to have on the SimRacing Expo all across the world, and it will be a new dimension of the market and the event. And yeah, so Danny, what do you think about all the exhibitors on the show?
Yeah, so basically, we have still some exhibitors that the people know already from the past, but to actually show the progress of sim racing and the industry behind, there was, I think, a really big eager attempt for us to get new exhibitors onto the expo, which is maybe we're small. Also, with the current development in the world, it's also hard for them to come to the expo, but where they're really keen to come to the expo because they understood that if they want to progress, they need to be shown at the biggest fair and at the biggest exhibition. And to be honest, I think this year there will be the first time personally for myself where you can look at the expo and see, wow, that's sim racing right now. That's bigger than we ever thought, and that was quite a great achievement. And yeah, I think the stress we have currently is building up the hype for that internally, and I think we should show where the expo is actually happening.
Yes, of course. So we decided to to have a new model. So we will have 2 halls. This means we have a 10,000 square meters exhibition hall only for showing simulators, pedals, steering wheels, and so on. So Danny, please go one further forward, because there you can see it's an internal file for us. You see all the guys who has already nailed their floors, for example, yeah. And this is absolutely amazing. So we changed from Nuremberg. You remember, we only have 4,000 square meters at the Nuremberg Teilfläche A, and now we are talking about 10,000 square meters exhibition area, and we are nearly sold out. So this is absolutely amazing, and we decided to put the esport thing on a new level. So this means in this hall, no racing will take place. We have decided to go, yeah, it's just like a hybrid model between professional esport and a racing stage. And we decided to, yeah, have something just like a pit walk, Danny, for all your teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the idea was last year we had the teams at the Teilfläche B, which was just maybe a strip where the people just run down and looked at sim racing and looked like a brief, take a look over there, guys driving. So basically, when you want to give attention to the teams, you need to make it big. And I don't know whether, so basically, that's now the first time the stage will be shown to any person except ourselves. So I think the next slide should be the stage and 2 slides more. So then we can talk next one. So basically that's the ground place, but that's not so important. And I think here is the stage of the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2022.
Okay, so we decided to make, yeah, it's the next step, absolutely. So this looks like a stage from, you maybe know from the IEM Cologne or from the IEM in Katowice. And we decided to make something just more, yeah, let's say a little bit more crazy. So we installed for the teams the opportunity to rent team boxes. So we tried it out last year at the Nürburgring. Danny, please go one for, yeah, okay. So you see it behind the stage. It's just like a real paddock at a real racing track. And we give every esport team the opportunity to rent a small box and to drive their races on their own equipment for a GT500, for example, or a professional trophy. And the paddock will be closed during break time and during the races because of not disturbing the drivers. So you see already we have a huge possibility to look on the stage. We will have the opportunities to implement real cars, for example, and we are in negotiation with some AAA gaming partners. They had never attended Nürburgring because of it's too small, there are too less people, and now we have the opportunity to hopefully implement one of the biggest publishers from the gaming industry, and maybe one or two of the major partners as well. So Danny, please go further. Okay, so yeah, new standards. So we talked about it already. Quadrupling the expo area means from 4,000 to 16,000 square meters. We have confirmed 4 exclusive world premieres on the SimRacing Expo. We have a professional esports stage, Saudi already. We will have a absolutely professional broadcasting driven by a well-known partner from us. We will have a really entertaining stage program, a lot of industrial panels, a lot of roundtables. We have cooperations with Virtual Le Mans, WRC, eNASCAR. This means these guys will attend the show with real cars. They will maybe talk about their plans for the future, and we have a cooperation with the Virtual Le Mans series because a lot of teams we invited has on the same weekend will have a race, and they will have the opportunity to take part in a special Virtual Le Mans area.
Yeah, so basically just to hook in there, that's one thing which is quite crucial in sim racing, which quite differs much from other esports that you know, maybe Counter-Strike or League of Legends and Valorant. When you talk about these kind of titles, it's always one title, and that's a major split in sim racing. We have at least 4 titles that people can drive, and people split between these titles because of prize money and obviously time, as Roger said before. And to have Virtual Le Mans also on the side is like declaration for us that we want to bring all the community to us, and not like just parts doing race room, iRacing, or ACC. So that's basically the Sim Racing Expos for every team, every driver who wants to compete. And it was great pleasure, I think, from Virtual Le Mans that they agreed to do that, because basically they're running their event on our Saturday, or we run events together. So that's also quite nice to be honest.
Okay, Danny, I think we have to hurry up a little bit because the guys are a little bit nervous right now. Okay, so we give you a small overview. A race for everyone means we have installed a community race based on race room. We are really satisfied because we have a lot of attendees at these races. We will have top events for the Sim Racing Expo, pretty well known from the previous shows, means Professional Trophy and ADAC Sim Racing Expo. We will have some cool sponsors regarding Fastest Lap, Constructor Award, or Driver of the Day. And please look on, Danny did a fabulous work regarding all the teams. So it's your choice to talk about them.
Yeah, so basically, it's quite hard to get all these kinds of people together. You can imagine, because as you see, Team Redline is also running Virtual Le Mans. G2 Sim Racing is actually quite new to sim racing, but they were quite keen. So except for cowana, which is quite where my heart bleeds a bit, we have every big player there available also from Thursday, where our B2B day actually is. So the industry can talk also directly to the teams, and they started to notice that it's maybe sometimes better to see them from eye to eye and just walk from one team paddock to the other one to have a talk instead of going also always online. And so basically that's just a short list of them. We have still more. Also quite cool that the car manufacturer Brabham also came to esports and now is also on the Sim Racing Expo. Maybe we can get a car from them there. That would be quite expensive, but would be cool to see. And I think we progress to the next one.
Okay, so we have further plans for the future, and we have some, really crazy shit is upcoming. So we are planning a Sim Racing Expo for North America in 2024. We change a little bit our own sim racing site. It's called Sim Racing Unlimited, and we will be able to have some cool sim racing data and market research by hopefully the mid of next year. We are in negotiations with a TV provider or a sports TV provider in order for a co-op, and we are reaching out for some professional, let's call it help, because we are sure that the Sim Racing Expo is a real cool sports event, and we need somebody who helps us a little bit to get non-endemic brands, for example, and the expanding structure. So we are looking really forward that Rennsport GG is joining the market in order to establish sim racing as a real esport title. So we have a professional top 50 CSGO team, for example, and if you see the professional structures, this would be absolutely great to have the same thing here in the sim racing industry. Our main goal is to to extend the target group. So we think not only the 1% of nerds are really absolutely important for the industry, we need the other 99% in Germany or across Europe as well, because everybody in the sim racing industry want to sell pedals, steering wheels or something else, and you can sell it to the 1% of super nerds, you can sell it to the 99% of the rest of the target group. So and for me, sim racing could be a really, really cool entertainment factor for the target group, in extension for every motor show in the world. So it would be absolutely amazing if the big automotive companies, open their heart a little bit and talk with us, because we are maybe respect. So we are maybe the new entertainment factor for the automotive industry. Yeah, so we are talking about some integrations and cooperations with them, but it's really, really hard to do it. Yeah. What we would really, really like is affordable hardware for the beginners. This would be really, really amazing, because not everybody has 5 to 12 or 60,000 euros for a professional simulator. I heard, by the way, or I know, that the top tier eSport orgs are, thinking about going to sim racing. This would be a huge impact for the target group and for the social media channels, for example. And this could maybe mean that we get a real big extension regarding the esports things. Yeah, and the ADAC could be the best partner for a youth development if it would be possible to speak to Munich. So these are our wishes for the future. And so thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure for speaking here. And let's enjoy the day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Guys, wait a second.
No questions allowed.
No questions allowed. Yeah, quite funny, Mr. Juser. For me, personally, it reminds me a tiny little bit about these Comic-Con expos in America. Is there any interest for your side or for their side to come together with them? Because it would be probably bring two groups of people together who are interested in both worlds of both sides, you know?
So I guess there will be a change in the future. So look, we have the Gamescom for several years here in Germany, and pandemic was really a worse thing, but maybe a good thing as well, because people had the time to think about some things for the future. And for Gamescom, so many video spiel publishers burn a lot of money for 3 fucking days, and it maybe would be much more better and professional to take this money not for one event, take 10, and give more people the opportunity to show your products, to use your products. Yeah, and yes, of course, why not? Why not combining a Comic-Con with a Sim Racing Expo? So why not? So we combine a Sim Racing Expo with a old-timer and neoclassic show. So the first words we got, or the first postings, why?
Yeah, people were really.
Yeah,
still to
still
you? Okay.
working, yeah.
The people were really started out to throw out criticism all over social media, because I think often people can't just think about what is possible or what is achievable. And then we went to our first exhibition last year in Nuremberg, where we still had to wear masks and so on. And the funny thing was, like, there was a hotspot in the hall, and it was our place actually, because there were so many cars, but you can't drive them, you can't touch them. And they come over to us and asked, whether can I drive the counter which is standing there? And we were like, yeah, of course, sure, get in. And then we had a Cayman GT4 also on the place, and they was like, yes, this car's quite cool. And we were like, yeah, you can go into the motion simulator and drive it right here. You can also drive Bilzerberg, like Racing Fuel is showing. And also at Stuttgart, I think that was like the mind-blowing event for us. Stuttgart, the Retro Classic Stuttgart had 80,000 visitors, and we had in 3 days 4,500 simulator rides. and 900 people taking part in the competition. And we were like, okay, that's also accelerated our beliefs how that could be. And you just need to try to do it. Otherwise, you never can prove it's working. And especially people which are, I think, a bit older and more settled, I really like the opportunity to take the car, which they have in their garage, onto a track, but virtually, because it doesn't burn money, it doesn't hurt the car, because the emotional relationship to the real car is quite big. So that's a great alternative for them to just enjoy what they bought and what they emotionally invested in.
Sorry, Michael, just short look behind the scene in the background. I'm working in the music business now for 32 years, and I started on that time when the Popcom in Cologne was quite big, and it was always this expo on that time was always, no, my stand is bigger than the other one, and I'm the biggest company in Germany and everything. How is it in the sim racing? Is it a similar situation that they always say, well, my stand is the biggest one?
So we recognize a little change. So we had not the opportunity at the Nuremberg because of the limited area. Yeah, so everybody got only 30 square meters, and yes, of course, Fanatec was the biggest player at this stage. But I guess what we recognize in the last 6 months, there are a lot of pretty well-known brands, not known from the sim racing industry, but known maybe from the PC industry, just like ADAC. They are entering the market, and they are entering the market with much more better budgets, much more, they have their own marketing crew, for example. They have more experience in, doing fairs, for example. And yes, we recognize these changes. And the cool thing is that everybody, respect as well, everybody who's entering the SimRacing Expo this year doubled their floor area. This is absolutely amazing. So we have nobody from last year tell us, okay, I only need 20 square meters. No, okay, so I take 40 or 60. So this means they say hopefully sold more parts during the pandemic, or they develop more parts in order to sell more in the future and want to be a little bit more bigger and have new customers. So this is an amazing step, of course.
I guess I will take a look on the Sim Racing Expo next time.
Be my guest, of course.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a big applause for Michael Wamser and Danny Guisa.
Thank you for having us.